And so in the last video we have taken the first type of functions, and in this video we are going to take the second type. But before we get started, I just want to clarify something, that when I have divided the functions lesson into 3 main videos, that doesn't mean that I cannot explain it in one video. But of course, one video it's easier for me than 3 videos. But one video will take too long, and once the video become too long, more than 10 or 20 or 15 minutes, it will be ununderstandable. Trust me. Okay, so that's why I have divided into 3 main videos. The second thing, when I divided this lesson into 3 main videos, that doesn't mean it's difficult. Do not take it wrong. Okay, so the second type of functions and the third type will not make difficult. It's not will be difficult, but it will make the stuff easier for you. Okay, and in order for me to prove that for you, I will let's start the lesson and see that in action. So I'm going to create a normal function that will say print name. Okay, the only job that it will do, it will print ln a name. Okay, for example, my name is, and we can add any name. Let's say that what we wanna do, I will call this function right here. So I'm gonna call this function right here. Okay, and I'm gonna call it twice. Okay, so I should get this sentences twice. So I'm gonna click on run, and of course I need to wait for a second. So this online compiler, or depending on the internet and all this kind of stuff. Oops, I have problem. Fun print. Okay, and indeed we are getting these 2 lines. Now one question will lead us to the second type. Well, what if I wanna print these 2 phrases but with 2 different names? For example, here Abdul Wahab, and then the second one I will print John. Okay, in order for us to do that, we need to create a second function. Okay, for example, you may be asking yourself, hey, I'm gonna do this, base it like this, and change the name right here to say John, right? This will work. Print name 2. I need to change the function name like so. If we click on run, it will work, right? So in print name, of course we have solved the problem, but with the wrong way. Okay, we are repeating ourselves twice. We are repeating the exact same print here, and so on and so forth. So this is the problem with the repetition that we have right here. And in order for us to solve this problem with the best practice, we are going to use the second function. So I'm going to get rid of this thing. I'm going to get rid of this thing right here. And here, instead of using the first type of function, I'm going to use the second type. And it is the function that take a parameter. Function that take a variable. Okay, so parameter are just a variable. Okay, so here when we are creating the print name function, between these parentheses we can add our own variable. Why we are going to do this? Well, we can use them later inside the function. So I'm going to create a variable called name like so, and I need to specify the type of it. It will be string. Okay, and here when I have created this variable, I can use it here anywhere I want inside the body of the function. So here, instead of Abdul Wahab, I'm gonna replace it, okay, with this dynamic name. Okay, and in order for me to do so, I'm gonna use the plus sign and type name. Here we are using the concatenation. We are going to add the name with this phrase right here. So this is the concatenation in programming using the plus sign. And of course it's different depending on the language that you are using it. But with Kotlin we are using the plus sign for the concatenation. Now here, when you are calling the function, you can pass the variable name. Okay, the variable value you can pass it like so. So if I type Abdul Wahab like so, jump over, click on run, you will see that in a second my name should appear here on the console. So indeed we are getting our name. But now we have more dynamic stuff going on here inside our application. If I duplicate the calling name right here, for when I duplicate this line where I am calling the function, here I can pass different name, let's say John Adam, okay, or any name that you want. If I click on run, you can see we are getting two different phrases with two different names. This is really dynamic. So as you can see, these are just parameters or extra variables we can pass to the function to use it later on inside the body of the function. Now let's take another example to make it even clear. So here I'm going to create a function, call it calculate, two numbers, okay? And this function here will take two parameters. The first one, let's call it number 1 of type int, and number 2 also of type int with capital I. And here I want to create a variable that will store the sum for them. So sum equal to number 1 like so, and I will multiply it by number 2. These are the two parameters that we have specified here, and we are using them inside our function. Now I'm gonna go ahead and call my function with the sum here, and here what I will do, I will call my function numbers like so, and I need to give it two numbers. The first one will be 2, the second one will be 4, and let's test the stuff that's right here, and indeed we are getting 8. Very cool. So this leads us to end this lecture, because we have learned about the second type of functions. It is just our functions that take parameters or extra variables to make stuff more dynamic. Hopefully that makes sense. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you in the next one.